Welcome to Tea and Anime Tuesdays, and this Tuesday we are going to be looking at Aggretsuko. Before we start, I would like to tell you all what I am eating and drinking today. This was described as a no-bake Nutella cheesecake. It is really stupidly easy. It's just a chocolate graham cracker crust, and then the filling is Nutella, cream cheese, and whipped cream blended together, and that's it. And it's very nice. I wouldn't call it a cheesecake. To me, it's more like a mousse, or just like a chocolate pie. I'd call it a Nutella pie, not a cheesecake. That's still really good. And with it, I know I drank this tea last time, but it's late in the afternoon and I don't want to be up all night. So it's decaf raspberry tea, and it just goes so well with chocolate anyway, so why ruin it? Retsuko, or Aggretsuko. I highly recommend that you see this anime if you are not an anime otaku. Even if you are an anime otaku, I think you should see it because it helps break the cycle of, I'm gonna watch anime just because it's anime and I'm an otaku. It's very non-anime to me. Yes, it does follow some of the tropes, but generally speaking, it has a very Western flavor. And my kitten is in my tripod. Miney! Yeah, it has a very Western feel to it. Not only in the animation style and like the storytelling style and everything, but I feel like also the themes of the story are a little more Western than Japanese, or perhaps they are a sign of changing times. So in case you haven't seen it, the basic premise is the main character, Retsuko, is a very typical Japanese woman in that she is meek, she keeps her problems and her emotions to herself, and she works as an office drone, and that's basically it. And she is shat on at work, her boss mistreats her, her other supervisors like pile their work onto her, and she's just taken advantage of. But part of the reason why she's taken advantage of is she's a big doormat. Doesn't know how to say no, doesn't know how to voice any kind of dissenting opinion. However, that is very Japanese. It's traditionally considered good, but especially as a woman, to be submissive, to not state any kind of dissenting opinion, and to just smile and do what your superiors tell you to do. Work culture there, also traditionally speaking, you sign on to work for a company and you're basically there for life. Unless you like do something really, really terrible, they're not going to fire you. They might demote you, they might like shuffle you around and have you just give people tea like they did with Retsuko in one of the episodes, but they're not really gonna quite fire you. So it's interesting then that in a lot of these episodes she encounters characters that say, oh, you hate your job, why don't you just quit? Or, oh, your supervisor mistreats you, why don't you stick up for yourself or something? It's like, that's very untraditionally Japanese, which I like. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just very pleasantly surprised by that.
Like your life? I'm not gonna lie. You look pretty wiped out.
Another way that Retsuko is like, kind of like what a traditional Japanese woman is expected to be, is at one point in the series she gets that idea, oh, I know how I'll get out of the rat race, I'll just marry somebody and then he can take care of me. And that's, again, very traditional Japanese woman sort of way of thinking. That definitely is changing. But it's interesting that when she was gonna go there, I mean, well, her friends were sort of supportive, like, well, you do you, girl. At the same time, they wanted her to do better. They didn't want her to just resort to marrying a man, which again, I felt that's kind of neat, because traditionally in Japanese culture, that's kind of what's expected of you if you're a woman. Work a few years at a company, meet a nice man, get married, quit, have a family. So I found like the whole series, so far at least, has been a bit of a deconstruction of what a modern Japanese woman should be. And again, I know that these opinions are changing. Like, most of the information I have about how women are viewed is more like from the 80s and 90s Japan, and I definitely know that it's changing. I like that Aggretsuko takes that apart and really shows us sort of the flaws in that system and how it completely oppresses, women like Retsuko and makes them just like never say how they feel, never go for what they really want in life, and it makes them just settle for what's expected of them, and how eventually that just drives them insane. I wish you guys could see. I have a purring kitten in my lap and it's really sweet. I have not even yet mentioned the hook of the show, though, and that Retsuko is a yes woman, and she's meek and lets people walk over her, but she has a secret. She loves screaming her lungs out, singing death metal in karaoke. And this is what actually made me watch the series to begin with, because I love metal. I love all things metal. I actually don't like death metal that much. I like listening to it occasionally just to laugh at it because it's absurd to me. It's fun. But yeah, I thought it was adorable, this little Sanryo sort of red panda character, really kawaii, and then she screams death metal on her off hours when other people aren't looking. But that's also part of it. That's like where her actual true feelings, her honne, as you'd say in Japan, is released, is in karaoke and with death metal. The characters are great. They all fit stereotypes and archetypes. And just like in BoJack Horseman, they're all anthropomorphized animals. If you notice, like the animals that they are kind of go with their personalities. Like her director, Ton, is like just a big pig. He's just a big sexist pig. And his lackey, the weasel, is just this weaselly, sneaky guy. And then you have Tsunoda, the cute office girl with the big doe eyes, and she's a doe. And so it really works pretty well. And then there's her friend Puko, who comes back, who is a cat, and she's kind of lazy and just kind of like, I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow and let other people take care of me kind of thing. That's pretty cat-like. Hey. And I have seen both the subtitled and dubbed versions of the show. It's pretty easy to do so because it's a short enough series that you can watch the whole thing in 2 hours. And I must say, I really, really like the dub. I actually prefer the dub over the sub. Or over the Japanese version, I should say, because I can understand the Japanese. But yeah, I think it works super, super well as a dub, and they did a very good job with the dub. The only complaint I have about the dub is, and I'm probably going to get a lot of people disagreeing with me here, but I really think they should have changed the names of the actual characters as well, if you're going to really localize it that far. I mean, they localize it to the point where if you read the subtitles while watching the dub, which I kind of did a couple times by mistake because I don't know how to do my Netflix settings properly.
Hey, not for you, baby.
But yeah, if you look and compare and read the subtitles while you're watching the dub, you'll see that some lines were outright changed for the better, I think. Again, I love pretty good localization in anime series. I don't think they should hold back and keep things all Japanesey to appease the weebs. But yeah, I feel like they didn't quite go far enough and that they really should have changed people's names. And it's a little thing, but director Ton, for example, the big pork guy, it doesn't really make sense to call him Tone in the dub. If you just hear Tone, what do you think? Bing bong, like T-O-N-E. That's what you think when you hear Ton. However, Ton in Japanese, if you've ever eaten tonkatsu or tonkotsu ramen, you probably know that ton means pork. So it works, like it's kind of a wordplay, it's kind of a pun to call her pig boss basically Mr. Pork. The chick, the doe chick, Tsunoda, Tsuno means little horns, right? So she's like horny. It's like horn girl, right? And it actually goes with her name. Feneko is one name that they could have kept the same and it still works, and they did, and it works because Fennec Fox, it's kind of the same in both languages. And then Retsuko herself, I know it would be weird to change her name because she's like the title character and the title of the series has her name in it, but I feel like a good name for her would have been Red, actually, because girls can be named Red. She's a red panda. Red also for rage, fire. Yeah, and they could have named the weasel lackey of the pork boss, they could have named him Mr. Weasley. They could have named Tsunoda Doey or Zoe or something cute like that that would have gone with her personality a little bit better. Gori kind of works because, I mean, our word for gorilla is similar to the Japanese word for gorilla. But washimi doesn't exactly work in English. Like, we don't know, most English speakers don't know that washi is eagle in Japanese. So I really think they should have changed the names to localize it even more. And that's pretty much my only complaint about the dub. Otherwise, I think it's a really good dub and a really good show. If you hate your job, or if you hate your boss, or if you find yourself like Retsuko, where you can't quite voice your opinions about things. I mean, I think all of us are that to a degree. She really helps us live vicariously through her. Anyway, thumbs up, definitely recommend that series. And if you have any ideas for other series that are current that you want me to watch and review, let me know, because I'm getting back into anime. You can subscribe! Or not if you don't want to! Hit me up on other social medias! Okay, I've embarrassed myself enough! Goodbye!